Hi, I'm Dana Schwartz, and this is Rise or Die, the official companion podcast for Peacock's original series, Those About to Die. On this podcast, I go behind the scenes with the show's cast and creators to learn how they brought their brutal vision of Rome to life. I talked to acclaimed director and executive producer Roland Emmerich.
When I saw the first race, I was like giddy.
Actor Ewan Ryan.
For an actor, that's a dream, although you do get a lot of sand in your sandals.
And so many more.
You helped summon those ghosts back onto that stage.
Every day when I went to set, I was giggling about what I saw.
I think it's going to be a breathtaking thing.
People will freak out.
Rise or Die launches on July 18th. Watch or listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Don't you love it when you find a new podcast you really like? Well, let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm Mike Carruthers, the host, and in every episode, you'll hear fascinating information that will make your life better from top experts. Recently, we've done episodes on why you have the personality you do, the science of luck, and the psychology of a restaurant menu. You're going to like Something You Should Know. We have literally thousands of 5-star reviews. Look for Something You Should Know wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey everybody, before we get started, we just want to remind you that if you're in the Los Angeles area, Kristine and I are going to be doing our very first live episode taping at the Nerdist Showroom on February 2nd.
Yes, February 2nd, come and see us. We will also be joined by special guests, Chris Farron and Brittany Nichols, who are really awesome and are going to sit with us for part of the episode. We're going to play a couple of songs, and you can find out all about it and get your tickets over at nerdmeltla.com.
If you are going to come, don't forget to watch Reptile Boy, Season 2, Episode 5, before you come so you'll know what the heck we're talking about.
Yeah, or don't watch it and
be pleasantly surprised.
Exactly.
All right, here we go. Welcome to Buffering the Vampire Slayer, a podcast where we're watching and discussing every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer one by one. I am Jenny Owen Youngs.
And I am Kristen Russo, and today we are discussing Season 2, Episode 3, School Hard.
School Hard was directed by John T. Kretschmer. The teleplay was by David Greenwalt, and the story was by David Greenwalt and Joss Whedon. It originally aired on September 29th, 1997.
This is the one, according to IMDb, where Buffy's mother and friends become trapped inside Sunnydale High School when a vampire named Spike launches an attack against the Slayer on parent-teacher night.
Yay!
Oh man, 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 oh man.
It's pretty exciting.
Holy shit.
Spike is here.
Spike is... Oh, okay. Well, like
Drusilla's here. Okay, sorry.
We're gonna. You got to take it one at a time, otherwise my head is gonna pop off of my shoulders.
Cool.
I feel like we need to talk about where we just were.
Where we just were?
Where we just were. We're recording this on the 21st of January. Doesn't go up then, so this is a message from the past.
A time capsule.
Yesterday was the Ascension. And today, Jenny and I marched in Los Angeles with the Women's March here in LA. And I just want to say, holy shit.
It was real serious.
It's like we get to talk about Spike and Drusilla, and we just left a march where who knows how many people were there. I've seen reports of 200,000. I've seen reports of 750,000. It felt like
750,000.
It felt like 750,000. I've never, ever seen so many people in my entire life. It was incredible. It was so incredible. So we are all fired up today. And if you marched, hell yes. And if you did not or could not march, we are here to report that it was the biggest thing in the entire universe. I mean, there were
It was massive.
There were so many people that I very nearly had an anxiety attack. Yes. But it was very, I mean, that's
there
good.
There were so many people that I very nearly had an anxiety attack, which is a higher threshold.
That was upsetting to me because I like turned around in a panic and Jenny was in a panic. And normally she's like the rock of us in a situation like that. So I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no.
But it was a brief panic.
It was
brought on by a very specific set of circumstances.
Yeah, we somehow wound up in the very center of the march, which wasn't really able to be a march because
there were so many people. The route was completely full
of people just trying to move, which is like cool until you're like, wow, like people are kind of packed in here and we can't move. And if anybody starts to panic, but guess what, guys? It
all worked out.
It all worked out, and it was really massive and really moving. And so, yeah, what I wanted to say, that the completion of that thought was if you did not or could not march last week / today, we are here to tell you that there's, I don't know, hundreds of thousands, millions of fucking people who came out today to say that they will stand up for your rights and for my rights and for Jenny's rights.
Pretty exciting.
Really exciting. Back to the initial excitement.
Right.
Spike and Drusilla, we.
We.
All the way home.
Like French we? Like yes.
Oh, no, I just meant like
we all the way home. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
But before we get there,
first,
we get a big earful from Principal Snyder.
He's got a lot to say.
Oh my gosh, he really does.
He has found who he perceives to be Buffy's equal in terms of behavior, morals, ethics.
It doesn't really make any sense since this other student, Sheila, has stabbed her horticulture teacher, which, by the way, horticulture class, huh?
But also, stabbed? Why is she still in school?
They have a very confusing set of ethics in Sunnydale High School.
It is tough to
because the only reason that we can put together that Snyder hates Buffy so much is because of shit she did before she even got to the school. Although I will say this, jumping ahead, we learned something very important in this episode.
At the very end.
At the very end, after all is said and done, and the cops are there, which is also...
For the first time!
Yeah, the cops are there. And Snyder comes out and is talking to the sheriff or whatever, and the sheriff's like, what do you want me to report, PCP gang? And Principal Snyder's like, well, what else are you going to say, the truth? And the cop is like, you're right, PCP gang. So we know that there's a knowledge...
That Snyder's tapped in to some amount of the dark underbelly of Sunnydale.
Which is, I was going to say maybe that's why he doesn't like Buffy, because maybe he perceives her as being tied into the dark underbelly and doesn't quite understand the workings of the dark underbelly.
Right. Could be.
Regardless, we meet Sheila.
Oh, God. And then we almost immediately find out that Sheila's dating someone named Meat Pie.
Meat Pie. I'm gonna give a standing ovation, not really, because it's hard to get up with this microphone in front of me, to the writer who decided that the boyfriend's name would be Meat Pie.
Seriously. Also, God, Xander's messenger bag is so big.
It's so 90s.
It's like... I also had a messenger bag the same size, but it's really hard to not look at that and also everything else that he wears.
And think about it, how oversized it is.
Yeah.
Listen, let's skip over Xander for a second and talk about Willow. I screamed Willow's name as though I was seeing her for the first time when I saw her in this scene where she comes out and she's in the overalls with the braids in her hair, and she's, I think, wearing maybe some lipstick and some eyeliner.
Woo!
She is like Willow, like
ladies' night.
I don't know. I know, right? We've seen the series, Jenny 408 times, me once, and I know Willow. I love Willow, and honestly, this is like the first time I feel like I got to see the Willow that I came to love.
Right. Very recognizable.
Which makes sense since I only started in season 2 last time. So that actually is the Willow that I first came to know and love. But she was looking like, she was looking like Willow. I was really excited about it.
We also have this great moment where Willow and Buffy are talking to Xander, and Xander says the thing that you never say.
Yes. I want to talk about this.
Nothing really bad happens. I'm Xander in this equation.
You are. You do this all the time, and I wonder, because I have like huge superstitions around saying stuff like that. anything like that. Like when I used to watch football all the time and the like announcer would be like, well, he's made this 47-yard kick at least 12 times. It's going to be an easy one for him. I would be like, no.
Why'd you say that?
Yeah. Also, you guys, I don't watch a lot of football, so I'm not sure about 47. I think that's a hard
great.
kick.
That was great.
I think that's far to be.
Sounded like real numbers.
But I don't know. You can let me know. But anyway, I feel the same way that Buffy and Willow feel. Total jinx. It was a total jinx, you know?
And it really was.
And it was.
Because something bad does happen, as we see in the next cut.
Listen, something great happens in the next cut. I mean, it's bad overall, but holy shit. I forgot. I forgot. I think because I didn't have any emotional attachment to Spike.
Right.
When I saw this. Right. What a fucking entrance.
Just blasting through the Welcome to Sunnydale sign in his old black beat up car.
And his boots come out and like hit the floor, and then his cigarette takes a big drag.
He's all like, home sweet home. And credits.
And credits.
Very satisfying.
And then, okay, after the credits, we go to the like lair. I'm just gonna call it a lair forever, even though it's not the original lair. We go to the warehouse where they all hang out now, and I hate the Anointed One. I think
the worst.
I mean, the worst, but like, I just don't feel he runs a good business. You know, it's like some vampire walks in and is like, I can kill the Slayer, and he's like, fine. You do it. And then some other guy walks in and is like, but I can kill the Slayer. And the Anointed One is like, you're right. You do it. Like, I just feel like he has no reasoning and he trusts everyone, and it's very weird.
What would you suggest that he have them fight to the death and the winner kills the Slayer? Because you're just reducing the numbers of your cult at that point.
I think I would at least suggest he ask them a couple of questions. You know what I mean?
Right.
What's your history?
Well, I think Spike makes an unfortunate bunch of statements. Sorry, Spike says some problematic things in this episode.
Spike says, let's just
talk about it right away.
Let's just get it up at the front, because
he says Nancy boy.
Hold on a second.
Oh.
I want to say that, you know, Jenny and I are very big Spike fans. We love Spike. And so Spike, like Cordelia, is likely going to get a jingle.
But not for this episode.
No, we were all ready to write it, and then we watched this episode, and I was like, okay, well, you know what? You got to earn your jingle, Spike.
Yeah, you can't just run around saying Nancy boy.
And
Uncle Tom. Those are...
And
no.
You know, yeah, that's the thing is, I think they're just no all around. Like, I see how perhaps one might say, like, well, we're trying to frame a character, and Spike is coming in as the big bad, right? I mean, he is the big bad, but I think maybe you could make a person the big bad without giving them these lines that are really problematic. Mm-hmm. So calling out Spike on Nancy Boy, super calling out Spike on Uncle Tom.
Also the biggest wrinklies. What a bummer.
Biggest wrinklies, and also there's a moment when Joyce, and we'll talk about this more when we get there, but when Joyce comes to the rescue, where he leaves and he says, women.
Oh, I liked that. You didn't like that?
I liked it because you say it all the time, but you being a woman, I think,
there's
more
an
claimed
inherent irony.
Right.
Right. Well, I think there's probably no good argument.
No,
for this.
I mean it's certainly less. I find it less problematic than the others, but still a list.
But there is like
something for Spike here.
Just staying with you at that moment a little bit later in the episode about like, you know, him going toe to toe with Buffy, and you know she's really not. I mean, she's like delivering the goods, you know, and giving him a good match, and like he is about to bash her face in or whatever with that log 2x4.
Yeah.
And then Joyce cracks him over the head. There's something about like he's been like, oh, Nancy boy this, and the biggest wrinkly's that, and then like Buffy and her mom are like, oh yeah, suck on this,
yeah.
And there's something like really satisfying about seeing him like beaten and his retort just being like women.
Well, and it's interesting because, and we're really jumping all over because we're jumping to the end, but I do want to just say that it's interesting to me in that scene that he leaves because he's not outnumbered. I mean,
no, and he's not even like manned, really.
No.
Like out-muscled.
Right, exactly. I mean, he could have kept fighting, but I think, and what we really learn is that he's like, oh, this is a different situation. This Slayer has other people on her team.
Whereas historically, the Slayer has been a very, like, sort of solitary being.
Right. So
without worldly ties.
So that's really interesting and ties into all the things we've been saying about the Scoobies from the beginning, that, you know, they really support her in ways that I don't think a Slayer has been supported in the history of Slayerdom.
For real.
Right?
So leaping backwards now.
Yes, let's get back to
the beginning of the episode.
Spike and the Anointed One is like, you do it. Okay, you do it. So Spike is now going to kill Buffy. Spike has a line I enjoy where he talks about being at Woodstock. Speaking of large gatherings of people.
Yeah.
Luckily, at today's large gathering, Jenny and I were spared from the vampires who were in attendance.
We were not fed upon.
We were not. But he talks about how he fed on a flower person who was apparently, you know, tripping on acid, because then Spike, apart from feeding, also gets the effects of the drug, which I thought was funny.
And what I do love about the like swaggy sort of like machismo part of this character introduction is that almost immediately we see the other side of Spike's coin, which is Drusilla wanders into the room, and before she speaks, he like senses her, and as he turns to reply to her, his face immediately changes back to his human face, which is like so tender.
Yeah.
I love it. Their creepy love is so awesome.
Yeah, their creepy love is pretty awesome. Also, I just screamed the entire episode. I just screamed.
She really did.
Because I'm so excited. I'm so excited that Spike is here, and I'm so excited about Drusilla, whose first line is, "Look at all the people." Her stupid little voice. I love it so much. And
so
then
good.
She goes into this monologue where she's like, "Do you like daisies?
Yeah.
I plant them, but they die. Everything I plant withers and dies."
Oh dear.
Oh my God.
And then she scratches Spike's cheek till it bleeds, and then she licks the blood, which tells us that vampires have blood, I guess, running through their veins, even though it's room temperature. Not really sure if it's just the same blood. We're not really clear on the sort of like biology of vampires. When they suck blood, does it just go into their stomachs, or does it go into their veins? Or like what's going on there?
It would seem to make sense, even though they call it feeding, that when they're feeding, the blood is going into their veins because it's like keeping them like which would mean that vampires wouldn't go to the bathroom. Do we ever see a vampire in a bathroom?
I think
we do,
but I couldn't say for sure without a cursory Google.
Of course. Well, and we don't want to spoil. I mean, let them have their big bathroom vampire reveal in real time if it does happen.
But also,
yes,
regardless of like whether the blood they suck is going into their veins or not, is the blood that one might lick off of Spike's open wound sustenance? Is it like a sustaining blood for a vampire?
Imagine.
Or that was just like
I think it was
something
just
romantic.
Sexy. Yeah, I think it was a sexy thing for sure. I think
wow.
I think that's what was happening there. So now we've met Drusilla and Spike.
Yay!
And then we cut to Buffy's room. There's this scene, right, where, like, she is mad about her conditioner, and her mom is like, "Are you ruining school?" And she's like, "No." And her mom's like, "I don't know. You better not disappoint me."
And Buffy's like, "I'm under a lot of pressure."
Right.
And Joyce is like, "Wait till you get a job."
Right.
And then
and this is what my note is, why I had to talk about this scene, because then Buffy pulls out, now we've already seen her go into her closet and take out a chest that's like so big of communion wafers and tools and holy water.
Stakes across it.
Now she just opens up a drawer in another part of her room that has it's not hidden at all. It's not like she removes a book from on the top of it. It's just like a whole bunch of shit, steaks and a Bible, and I don't even know.
Brass knuckles, but like spiked brass knuckles.
Ooh, spiked, you say?
So, I do say.
And then for some reason, the writer had to hit us over the head with the fact. I think we all got the fact that she
was
does
like,
have a job.
I do have a job, but then out loud, she was like,
I have a job.
Do have a job.
Yeah. So thank you for that.
So then we're at school. They're making a banner.
And Willow's wearing another Scooby shirt.
Oh my God.
Second one we've seen.
And Jenny Calendar and Rupert are having a conversation about
Rupert. You called him Rupert because she calls him Rupert.
Yeah, she's all like, Rupert, you have got to read something published after 1066. Sick burn, Jenny Calendar.
And he's all like, yes, Jenny was surfing. Like
surfing on her computer.
Surfing on her computer, not surfing the net, surfing on her computer.
Just think about that for a minute.
I want to talk about something here, and I don't know, and maybe you all will let me know, but I don't know what the relevance is here or if it was done on purpose. But in this scene where, because Buffy's making the sign, right? She's been told she has to plan the PTA meeting. That's the deal. She has to plan the PTA meeting, and her and, what's her face? What's her name?
Sheila.
Her and Sheila have to plan this PTA thing, and if they don't do a good job, somebody's getting expelled or whatever. That's the plot.
Lord.
But so she's making this sign, and she has a red, like she's using red paint, and there's a red streak down the same cheek that Spike's red streak was down when Drusilla cut it.
What does it all mean?
It just seems like it's too... I mean, it's identical nearly. You know, it just seems like it's too blatant to not have been done intentionally, but I can't quite figure out what the intentionality is. So I'll leave it to you. Let me know. Let me know all your thoughts.
Yes, please.
And then we go
to the bronze. So many highlights. First of all, Xander dancing. Oh, God.
Yeah, Xander dancing LOL is my full note.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this scene, that moment of seeing Xander dance.
It's great.
It's great. He's really getting into it. He's really finding his groove. You know?
I'm sure that's how I danced when I was a junior in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Also, another highlight of the scene, go back and check out the drummer's right wrist, the wrist that he's holding his hi-hat stick in. It's almost as if he were balancing the drumstick in the middle of his palm and then just sort of closed his fingers around it like a Venus flytrap and then held it like that.
Yeah, it's very
to
odd.
play the drums. What a delight.
I love this scene when we see Spike watching
when
her.
He's a stalking.
The Spike stalks Buffy scene. I loved it. I felt like the mood was so perfectly creepy and stalkery, and like the shots of Buffy, the way that like she was framed in the center dancing and he was all in shadow. I just loved it. I loved the composition of it all, and I really loved what it like informs us about Spike, right? Because he gets a bad rap in this episode from the other vampires and stuff for like rushing into things.
Mm-hmm.
But really what we see in this scene is him like casing this. He not only is like casing her out in the bronze, but then he has another vampire go out so he can watch how she fights.
Mm-hmm.
He's really like in the beginning, he's pretty meticulous about this. And then I think he's like, I can take her, So then he's like, why wait?
Yeah. You know what I really like about this?
What?
After Spike goes up to those two people who are standing near the Scoobies and is like, "Where's the phone? I need to call the police. Some guy is trying to bite somebody outside." And then Buffy dashes into the alley. And of course, the two people who he says that to don't tell him anything about where the phone is. They just sort of look at him and then keep dancing.
Yeah, they're like, another person's getting bit. Oh, yeah.
Right. So Buffy's like out there fighting that vampire and is like, a steak would be nice. Xander runs back into the bronze and points for continuity. The first thing he pulls out of Buffy's purse is her red butterfly yo-yo from last week.
Oh, wow. I didn't notice that.
The second thing he pulls out is a tampon, which he, as soon as he recognizes what it is, he flings it away from him as though it were a large spider. And I think he even shakes his hand to get the tampon cooties off.
Not to take us back to the march today, but one of my favorite signs at the march just said, "He hates periods." That was the whole sign. He hates periods. Were they talking about
punctuation?
Blood? I just meant were they referring to our president, or were they referring to Xander?
Ooh, good question.
Right? Yeah.
I think Xander, it's safe to say at this point, just fears periods.
Oh, and Lord, I did not mean that as a comparison between the two.
No.
I mean, I have some problems with Xander, but I would never. would not come, not even, no.
No, but he does Nick Brennan does an amazing job of that like physical acting. I really like that. That's probably what I did with tampons when I was in high school. My Xander.
Oh. Do we have to investigate this further?
No, definitely let's not.
High
Just
school
trust
you?
me that I am not. But
you sound a little guilty, but
well, I don't identify with his like extremely unfavorable attributes, but
all right.
Some of his less unfavorable
right
attributes I'm into.
Right.
I see myself scared of a tampon and so on. Okay.
So then we're
and Spike's all like, Saturday, I'm gonna kill you.
Right. And then we go to commercial break.
Right.
Oh my God. I don't know exactly where we come back, but the first thing that I noted was that Sheila is walking down the alley. Now,
one of Sunnydale's many,
of course,
many creepy back alleys.
Of course. Oh my gosh, wait. We just talked about a sign that said he hates periods and we didn't say the patriarchy.
Sorry.
I know we would have had more opportunities to get there, but
yeah, but
that was an important one. So anyhow, Sheila, who I think this actress or the director, I don't know, but somebody's taken a page out of Ali Sheedy's book from The Breakfast Club here.
Mm-hmm.
Not nailing it, in my humble opinion, but I just felt a lot of overlap between their character, like, traits and the way they spoke and whatever, you know?
Right.
But so, off Sheila goes and she's walking with two guys and she says, like, something about a Cadillac.
Do you really have a Cadillac?
And then, because I'm just crazy about a cad.
Who has ever called a Cadillac a cad?
Sheila.
Number one.
Just Sheila.
Just crazy about a cad.
So then, right, and then Sheila, whatever, who cares? I don't care. Listen, let me tell you a secret. I do not care about Sheila.
Me neither.
I don't know if I was supposed to, but I never cared about her, not for 1 minute. So whatever. Can we please talk about the library where...
Oh, God. Okay, so they're talking about Spike, and Giles is like, he's not as old as Angel. Oh, dear, he's bad. He's very, very bad.
And then from out of nowhere comes Angel. He's worse. Or whatever he says.
And he's got his, like, sort of neck stretched out and down to make his, like, head.
Which reminded me of last week being in here with Cameron, who wondered, can Angel fly? Because
maybe,
maybe, like, maybe
we don't know he can't.
He is always appearing so quietly, which is noted in the show. I mean, Xander
suggests putting a bell on Angel. Great idea.
I really think we should all employ that. We're always startled by Angel. Oh God, and we also meet Miss Edith. We meet Miss Edith. Did I skip? Did you have more to say about that scene?
No. Willow's got that great "why did they call it a mace" moment. But that was the last thing I had to say
That
about
is a great
the library
moment because, and that's funny. I mean, Willow is calculating how many
dates Angel might have gone on in the last 200 years.
Even if he only went on 2 dates per year.
Yep.
Oh, I love Willow. Yep. But right, then of course.
Back at the Anointed
Warehouse, we see that Drusilla not only is Drusilla in all the ways we've already learned, but that she has a doll collection. And one of her dolls, Miss Edith, has misbehaved and must turn around and face the wall. Oh, why? Why do I love her so much? Juliet? Is it Juliet Landau?
Yeah. She's so great.
I'm really hopeful that we can have her on the show with us because she is phenomenal. She's phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, we just met her and James Marsters playing Spike, and like just in one episode they leave such a detailed and heavy footprint.
Well, and you all can correct me if I'm wrong on this because I did just see it written somewhere. I did not source check this, but I saw in a couple of places it said that the original character arc for Spike and Drusilla was 2 episodes.
Yeah, I've read that also.
Right?
And that supposed to be there for
and we see what happens.
Yeah,
right.
Support for today's episode comes from OneSkin. And if you have sensitive skin, you're going to want to hear about their scientifically proven topical supplements. Free from over 1,500 chemicals and preservatives that can make skin red, irritated, or itchy, their products are safe for sensitive skin.
It's just one of the reasons they've earned the Skin Safe seal of approval.
They've also earned the Jenny Owen Youngs and Kristen Russo seal of approval, if I do say so myself, Jenny.
I couldn't agree more. I've been using OneSkin for a few months, and after a few weeks, I remember it like it was yesterday. I texted Kristen and I was like, maybe she's born with it. I looked in the mirror that morning and was like, oh, things are happening, and I am happy.
I have used 1 billion skin products, and I did not think that I was going to switch off of the skin like lotion, the moisturizer that I used, and the under eye cream that I use, because I have used them for a little while and I really like them. And I've switched completely, which is a pretty big deal. OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company. By focusing on the cellular aspects of aging, OneSkin keeps your skin looking and acting younger for longer. Get started today with 15% off using code BUFFERING at oneskin.co. That's 15% off at oneskin.co with code BUFFERING. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them, and if you can, please tell them that we sent you.
As a podcast network, our focus is bringing you shows you love to listen to. But we also sell merch related to those shows. And partnering with Shopify has made that both possible and simple for us to do. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor adventures, Shopify helps you sell everywhere because they've got you covered, from their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system. What's so fantastic about Shopify is how, no matter how big you want to grow, they provide everything you need to get control of your business so you can take it to the next level. Businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm. That's all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/realm.
Just amazing.
They're incredible. Yeah, I mean, wow.
I wrote down, this is the greatest romance in the entire Buffy universe.
You think Spike and Drusilla have the greatest?
I at least thought it while I was watching this episode. I was like, holy shit, this is so good.
Oh, wow. What a thing to say. There are so many romances.
Right. And listen, I'm not saying...
No, I'm not even contesting it. I actually think it could be a valid pick.
I don't believe in favorites, and I don't believe in bests. Is that...
That's fair.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and but I agree.
But I think this one is great.
It is phenomenal. And if you're watching along with us for the first time,
buckle up,
and I am so jealous of you. I really, truly am. Although I forget a lot, so it is.
Yeah, you could be jealous of yourself.
It really felt like I was watching this for the first time. I think because it's the first time I'm watching it with a love for the characters already.
Yeah.
Which is really special.
Also, I just want to say, when we first cut to the Anointed Warehouse, you hear in the background a bunch of the vampires doing some Saint Vigius chanting.
Right.
And what I want to say about this is, Kristen was raised Catholic. Sometimes at Christmas we go to Catholic church. And there's this like soup that I have many feelings about going to church, but one thing that I really love about it is the sick, like, fourths and fifths chanty Gregorian vibes, where like the priest will be like na 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 na, and then he goes and he does some stuff and fa, and then the whole congregation then goes, the mystery of faith, and it's super sick. I'm away. That's my jingle. That's my jam. The mystery of faith, absolutely. And the vampires chanting to Saint Vigius sounds very Catholic or very Gregorian or something.
Referred to as the patron saint of vampires, which I enjoyed. I looked it up just in case there was a Saint Vigius, but I could not find I think it is a created saint.
Yes, I think you are right.
I mean, I didn't know. I imagined that if there was a Saint Vigius, he or she. Do we know the gender of Saint Vigius? I don't think we do.
I think they say he.
Oh, they do. Damn it. But I thought maybe it was pulled from something, like there was a Saint Vigius, and maybe
perhaps his chapters were deleted somewhere in the last 2,000 years. I don't know if there was one opportunity to delete one thing out of the original text of the Bible.
It would have been the patron saint of vampires. Yeah. I would like to just give a shout out to Spike's, what I referred to in my notes as Spike's duster sexy move.
Oh my God, where he whips it over his hip.
Yeah, and I don't know. I can't know what actually happened in that scene, if that was planned or not. But
I think it was an accident.
Right? Because it seems like he gets caught in the jacket.
Yeah, and then he just whips it over
but
very sexily.
He's like, I know, I'll fix this scene. We won't even have to do another take. I'll just sexily whip it.
What a dreamboat! Nailing it!
Yeah, totally nailing it. Speaking of dreamboats who totally nail it, we cut back to the library, and finally, Cordelia is here. I had to wait all the way until Act 2 for Cordelia this episode.
Just in time to slide a little switchblade in between Xander's ribs.
Right. Also, she says here that she has to get her legs waxed.
She actually says she has to get her legs waxed.
Legs?
She has a leg wax.
Wow. But what I noticed is that it seems like, and I didn't really thoroughly investigate, but it seems like she's just wearing a dress with like regular shoes and not like stockings or tights or anything.
So how often does she get her legs waxed?
Well, I've never gotten waxed in my life. I'm not a waxer. But from what I understand, you have to do some grow out in order to wax. You can't wax stubble because the wax won't hold the hair. And so I was a little confused about the fact, which probably is believable as a line because probably Cordelia was lying. But,
right.
But I'd
be there myself
if I didn't have a leg wax. And then I was like, but you don't even, okay. Also, Cordelia is wearing a fucking banana clip in her hair.
Oh, that's just your favorite. You love a banana clip.
You never had a banana clip, did you?
I can't say for sure.
Wow, you don't remember?
Like, probably not.
Do you know what a banana clip is?
Maybe a real girl left one at my house one time, and then I was like, oh, a totem of real girlhood. I should hold on to this in case the opportunity should ever arise that I would somehow know how to do with know what to do with this then do it.
Oh, I loved a banana clip. I think I would still love a banana clip. Like, they're pretty great. They just scoop all your hair up into one.
Get it all in there.
Little thing. Although Cordelia is using her banana clip with an additional twist or something. I would just put all my hair in it and it would kind of fall out the back. You know, I think that was the style, but that was more in the 80s. Anyway, you know what?
You know what we haven't touched on yet?
What?
We haven't touched on the sweet opening shot of like Willow holding the crossbow, Xander whittling the steaks, Buffy wielding a machete that she's using to chop crudité.
Yeah.
That is all.
Yeah, but it's pretty great.
So good.
It's pretty great.
Although I will say that those cucumber slices are too thick to really be usable.
What a great little metaphor for Buffy's life, right?
Right.
I mean, there it all is. That she must use the weapon that she's killing vampires with to also cut cucumbers for school.
Intersectionality.
Yeah, there you have it. All in a machete, everyone. So then I don't have a ton, like the next note I have is the end of this like act. But we go through the whole parent-teacher meeting.
Parent-teacher night. Some great lemonade-based comedy happening in this scene.
Oh, really, truly, there really is so many lemonade. There are so many lemonade-based jokes. Both in like verbal and physical comedy spaces.
We get Willow's reaction to tasting it. We get Willow signaling to Joyce, you don't want lemonade.
Right. We get Buffy spilling it on Snyder.
Oh yeah, and then we get Willow when Cordelia's being really just unnecessarily mean. We get Willow telling her to have some lemonade.
Yeah, Cordelia's super, like, her smile when Principal Snyder takes Joyce away and they like reframe that shot, which is really done, I think, very beautifully, where like Cordelia moves from the left side of the screen to the right, and then it's framed so that Cordelia's face is closest, then Willow, and then Buffy, and they go in like a diagonal, getting farther away, just like that. And the smile on her fucking face, and then she's like, "You're gonna be fucking grounded until our 10-year reunion."
Yeah,
like,
she's
why
extra
is she even
mean in this
happy
episode
about it?
It's unclear why she's so mean.
I stand behind her in any of her decisions, but
yeah,
but still.
Then we go back to the library where Giles is in extreme study mode, and he has made two important discoveries. Number one, Spike's name before it was Spike, before you earned the name Spike
yes.
by torturing his victims with railroad spikes. His name was William the Bloody. That's important. And also, he discovers that Spike has faced 2 slayers in the past and has killed them both.
Right.
Yo.
Right. Which we get to dig into, right? Like that's a part of Spike's history that we will get to explore a little more.
Yeah, we'll learn a little bit more about that.
A little bit more about that. Because I just said that because I feel like I know more about it. So then Joyce talks to Snyder. Joyce comes out and is like, in the car.
Such a
now.
mom.
She fucking nails it. Of course she does. Kristine Sutherland is a fucking genius, and I hope we have her on the show as well. But before they can get to the car, the window well, first of all, before they can get to the car, Snyder turns off every light in the
Even though parent-teacher night is still totally underway.
Right, but I liked it because I felt it was intentional.
I felt like, you can't stay here. You don't have to go home.
But you can't stay here. Well, but I felt like, what it signaled was that he was there to talk to Joyce. And once he had done that, he didn't give a fuck anymore. And he was like, now everybody leaves, please.
Ugh. Oh, he's the worst.
He's the best, though. I love him. But the worst, yes. Anyhow, then crash, bang,
Spike
boom.
and Co.
Yep, they come and a beautiful entrance.
Yeah.
Here, this vampire gang, and they go chasing after everyone. This has probably my favorite moment. No, it's definitely not my favorite moment in the episode because there's so many. But one of my favorite moments is when we see Cordelia get grabbed. And Willow comes up with a fucking statue. A bust. And wails that vamp. And grabs Cordelia and whisks her into the utility closet.
And I think between this save and their ensuing time together in the utility closet, where Cordelia has already spent a significant amount of time in
Cordelia loves the
out
utility
of
closet.
mind, out of sight. I think they might just deserve a special little trophy called the Sexual Attention Award for this episode.
Oh, yes.
Even though you'd think the obvious choice, Spike and Drew, right?
No.
But
there's no tension there at all.
Right,
There's
it's just
sexual.
all sexual.
Yeah, it's just... the runner-up for me was Xander and Angel again.
They've really got an old married couple thing going on.
They really need to make out already. But you know what? The only people who need to make out more... And I'm going to just say this. I think Cordelia and Willow made out in this episode. For real.
Really?
I think we didn't see
it's
this.
in the subtext?
It's in this. Yeah, I think that what we all know... Because it's just like they get in the closet and like they have this dialogue where Willow is like, well, what are we going to do now? Ho hum. And then she's like, pray.
Right.
And I'm like,
that's code. That's code. Also, this also just reminded, because I'm sure there's Cordelia and Willow fan fiction, but we talked, I think back in Out of Mind, Out of Sight, about there being like the potential for Cordelia on Cordelia fanfic, as that was a joke that we made. But it turns out, based on some quick research by our friend Cameron, not Esposito, but a whole other Cameron.
Cameron Glavin.
Cameron Glavin reported back after listening to that episode of our podcast and let us know that there are at least two Cordelia on Cordelia fanfics available on the internet. If that's something you're into, go forth and seek your pleasures from the world.
If that's not something you're into, who are you?
Yeah, I do really want to know what happens.
Me too. I think that we should make it our special assignment to make sure we get our hands on some Cordelia on Cordelia so we can report back.
Oh my God.
To those who might be afraid to Google that.
What a great idea.
Cool. So Willow and Cordelia are making out.
Right. And Buffy is taking command.
Yeah.
Buffy is on it.
This is
She's
incredible.
Like General Summers.
General Summers, who gets everyone to listen to her, including Principal Snyder. Kinda, right. But he does like run in the room. I mean, I really think that if we were to believe Principal Snyder to be who Principal Snyder is, he probably would have made the wrong decision and gotten himself killed before he got in that room.
Yeah.
But then it's confusing because then, like we said, he knows that something's up. He knows that there is like a dark force of some kind. We don't know if he knows that there's vampires per se, but right. So maybe, I don't know. I need more on Snyder.
You've just made me realize that Principal Snyder kind of reminds me of the lawyer in Jurassic Park. who dies in the jaws of a T-Rex after abandoning the kids and hiding in a small bathroom structure.
Right. We're happy about that death, right? And when
he was a jerk.
He was a jerk. I wouldn't be happy about a Snyder death, but
no.
But no, I see your point.
But I was
having
there.
feelings over here.
Oh, sorry.
I was lost in my own feelings world. But yeah, good comparison.
Thank you.
Great job, Jenny. I would like to make a small note here about how fucking strong the doors at Sunnydale High School are.
Oh my God.
Like, no one can get through them. They take
a riot-proof high school.
Yeah.
My college, SUNY Purchase, what everybody says is that it was built not long after there were a lot of college riots happening, and so the whole campus, like where all the classroom buildings are, is gradually stepped to make it more difficult to like drive stuff over or whatever.
Yeah.
And the doors are like super heavy.
You know, I'm responding to you the way I am, being like, yeah, because I went to SUNY Binghamton, and
is it the same?
It is.
Oh wow,
it is. Yeah, and then they were always called riot stairs when we were there. I lived in the dorms that I lived in at SUNY Binghamton while I was there were called College in the Woods, and there were like a cluster of 5 dorms, and they were split with these riot stairs, which like are great for preventing riots, I suppose, but really poor for a bunch of very drunk college students, because they're like the stairs go on like one diagonal and the railings go on the opposite diagonal.
What?
It's like it was like a whole it was a lot, and things were broken up like that too in parts of the campus. I don't think the whole campus, but like the parts built after the riots, like after the riots, as though it just was a one-time thing in one generation. Anyhow, so maybe Torrance High School has some riot doors.
If the insides are the interiors, do we have any reason to believe that the interiors are an actual high school and not
a set?
A build on a soundstage?
I would imagine it would be a soundstage, but I don't know. Something to look into.
Yes.
Or
just email us.
Right, that's the thing.
You know,
we don't
already.
even have to look into things anymore. We just say like, I wonder, and then we get emails being like, we know. It's great. It's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
BufferingTheVampireSlayer@gmail.com.
Please.
I had a little fun note here. I know it's a different trophy case, but there's a scene, and actually I didn't notice it, but I read that when Spike is walking down the hall, his reflection gets caught in something, which was a little
whoopsie-daisy.
A little mistake. But in that scene, which I think is the same scene, he walks down the hallway past a trophy case.
But not the trophy case where Amy's mom is hanging out?
No, I don't think so. No, it looks like it's in a different part of the school. But I still had a moment where I was like, I pictured Amy's mom's little eyeballs in the cheerleading statue, like watching this all go down in the high school, because she's just trapped in there. At least she has good entertainment.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in the high school. Daytime, nighttime.
Oh my God.
Cool. So Xander goes to get Angel, which is where our second, romance starts to blossom.
Right.
When they find each other again. And he doesn't want to, of course, because he wants to make sure that Buffy and that Willow are okay. But as a good Scooby does, he realizes, per Giles' instructions, that the more important thing is to go get Angel. So he does.
Yep.
And then we have this scene where, Angel doesn't tell Xander what's going on for obvious reasons, I think, because Xander has to actually be scared.
To make it real.
Right.
Although I feel like Xander being like, I knew you were faking it, Mr. Evil Undead guy, may tip his hand a little bit that he does know what's going on.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know.
Well, regardless,
we have this meeting. This meeting between Angel and Spike. Very important, this meeting.
Yes.
And we watched the episodes twice, as many of you know from listening to our podcast and hearing us talk about it all the time. But the first time through, I didn't notice. The second time through, you didn't even notice. And I had us pull it back because when Spike and Angel hug for the first time, it is very obvious on Spike's face that he knows immediately upon hugging Angel that something's up and that it's not Angelus, although Spike calls him Angelus.
Right, there's this pronunciative discrepancy.
But regardless, Spike is on to Angel here, and makes him believe that he believes him for a beat, and then clocks him, right? He just punches him in the face. Yeah. So, and we learn that Angel has sired Spike.
That is what is said.
That is what is said.
Spike says, "You are my sire. You are my Yoda."
Right. And we'll talk about this a little more in future episodes. But actually, right now, I don't think we've learned. Oh, yeah, we have learned what siring is because of Darla and Angel. I thought maybe we hadn't because Xander has a line where he's like, "What does it mean to sire?" But
yeah, I can't remember the exact information that was exchanged about Darla.
Right. But whatever. Anyhow, so that happens. And then what? And then
we haven't mentioned yet that there's this great scene where Snyder's being a baby and he's all he's fixing to hop out the window and Joyce is like, what are you doing? You're gonna get us all killed. And Snyder's like, I'm a little baby. I do what I want. And then somebody else joins him. That guy gets eaten as soon as he gets halfway out the window. Then Joyce seals the window back up and is like, you're the worst. And Snyder's like, I'm starting to see a certain mother-daughter resemblance.
Which is pretty tight considering how this arc goes with Buffy and Joyce.
Seriously.
Right? Because you see Joyce is tough as fucking nails in this episode.
Yeah, she's great.
Like, I know that Buffy is the Slayer, so she automatically gets to be tough as nails regardless of her parentage. But I'm going to go and say that I think her parentage has a lot to do with her badassery. Because fucking Joyce, are you kidding me? Turning back around with her axe coming in there?
Yeah.
Come on.
Pretty badass.
So badass. And the way she talks to Snyder and the way that she trusts Buffy. Like, I mean, she's scared, but she's still like, forge forward.
Yeah.
Go for it. Which actually reminds me, I mean, we're talking about the March a bit, but we're all fired up, so forgive. But I do weekly live streams on Autostraddle. I don't know if you know Autostraddle, but they're a brilliant site for queer and trans women and other humans. And they host me on their Facebook page, and I do advice. I give live advice every week. And this week, their question was, my mom won't let me go to the protest. What do I say to her? And I think I had that like rumbling around in my brain when we were watching this episode because, it's a big thing for a parent to like let a child go to a thing that could be dangerous, right? Like, a big crowd like that is scary. And, with Buffy and Joyce, we're seeing this situation where Joyce knows there's like mega danger. But she sees something in Buffy where she's like, she looks like she knows what she's doing and I have to trust her. So it just aligned for me where I was thinking about that parent, those many parents who probably have young people in their lives right now who want to participate, who want to protest, who want to march, who want to be active. And they know that there's some danger there, that there could be danger there. And seeing if you can trust the greater good to protect your kid and let them march or let them, in Buffy's case, crawl up into the ceiling and fight vampires. I think it's interesting. And I don't know how I would feel, It's like, I know that I took myself to a march today, but I don't know how I would feel if I had a kid and my kid, I would let them go. But I think I would be
stressed out.
Super stressed out. So anyway, that was some more feelings by Kristine.
Those were so good. Such good feelings.
Thank you so much.
I also love that Buffy isn't like, shut up, Mom. Just let me do what I'm doing. She's like, I know. They're dangerous. That's why I'm going to go up through the ceiling. Like, she, is respectful, is clear, and also, says what, says not necessarily what her mom needs to hear, would most want to hear.
Right.
But, says something that will help her mom feel better and be less afraid.
Yeah, we really learn about how Buffy and Joyce together handle crisis in this episode, right? Because there really is a lot of, and I do think that sometimes it takes a crisis to bring out those skills in us where we can be so narrowly focused and clear-headed. What are you laughing at?
I'm just laughing at how bad I am in a crisis.
Jenny is horrible in a crisis. It is true.
One time, Kristine was cutting an avocado and she slashed open the webbing between two of her fingers. Oh
God! I'm sorry, everyone. They just got torn. Just got yanked into.
It's just science.
Oh,
she was bleeding like crazy, and she was like, Jenny, and I was like,
I wasn't. No. Do you want to know what's hysterical? I was not bleeding like crazy, Jenny, at all.
Oh.
Because I cut myself really bad, but I immediately like knew that it was really bad. And I like picked my hand up above my head. So it was high up.
So you're great in a crisis.
I was great in a crisis. But I wasn't wearing, so I had like I was at the house in my pajamas or something. And I knew we needed to go to, it was very clear to me
that we needed to go to the ER.
We needed to go to the ER. But I wasn't wearing like a bra, which, hey, revolution. Why did I need one? But I felt I did. And so I was like, all I need from you is to help me get this sports bra over my head. Can you, and she was losing it.
Have you ever seen a chicken doing like laps?
Have you ever seen
a yard?
Any sitcom where a woman goes into labor and her husband is there, and like the way that every sitcom treats it is that the husband like just spins around and the husband winds up needing the oxygen.
Loss of central nervous system.
That was
control.
Jenny. That was just so I had to sit her down and get the sports bra on myself. You did manage to drive at least to the emergency room.
I have my skills. I have my uses.
But yeah, total panic. Same thing when I spilled a whole gallon of boiling water on my body. I did that too. Don't let me in the kitchen is the lesson here.
Well, if you are going to let her in the kitchen, make sure somebody besides me is around.
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh, the other thing, thing about people in a crisis is just real quick after Xander has left the library and it's just Giles and Jenny Calendar. Giles is like, yo, I got to go out there. He starts unbarricading the door. And Jenny's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I am responsible for her, which is like such a sweet dad moment. Yeah. And then you think Jenny Calendar's going to maybe like argue with him, but she's like, Rupert, be careful.
Oh, because they love each other.
Yeah, because they love each other. And then Buffy, of course, falls through the ceiling because she is up there above the library and grabs her weapons bag and is like, yo, you need to stay in here because if I don't make it out of here, I know that you will get my mom out of here. It's very beautiful.
It is very beautiful.
I love it so much.
Mm-hmm.
Giles is a dad.
God, it's happening. I want to just say out loud, it is happening. We are falling in love with these characters. I know many of us are already in love with these characters, but this is when it starts to happen to you. If you're watching for the first time, you're starting to slide down the slippery slope where we love these characters. They're beautiful characters and their relationships are complex. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. So anyway, there's a whole big fight scene. People are dying. The right people are dying, meaning the non-people are dying, except for that poor teacher who
R.I.P.
Spike kills just to kill, which is an important personality trait that we glean.
We also, what's so great, when Spike and Buffy are just about to fight, when they're acknowledging that they're about to fight.
Yeah.
And they're like, do we even need weapons? And Spike is like, they make me feel all manly and like runs his hand down his abdomen a little bit, which for some reason is just so great.
And he also says like, the last Slayer I killed begged for her life. You don't seem like the type to beg. Accurate. Nailed it. Right? Very observant Spike. And also, I think they're third in line, but maybe second. Like, there's some fucking sexual tension. I think.
There's
Spike
something there.
I mean, in this scene, specifically in this scene.
Yeah.
And maybe in the bronze,
Two titans converge.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? So they fight. Spike rips. I mean, he literally puts his hand into the wall and rips out a 2x4.
That's pretty wild.
That's pretty wild. Indicator of Spike's magnitude in terms of strength.
Yes.
He's over Buffy. I still don't think, even if with Joyce or not, I think that
Buffy would have rolled.
Yes, but Buffy's definitely in peril here,
and it's very satisfying for Joyce to be the person who deals that blow to the back.
She's
of
like,
Spike's
"You don't
head.
fuck with my daughter, clank."
And then he's like, "Women," and then we're like, "The patriarchy." And then he runs off into the night. And go back and watch his little hop out the window.
Yeah,
it's pretty hilarious.
I feel like it's a very spiky hop. Like I feel like he does. Like he like hops over things and into things. That's like a thing. We'll see if we notice more of that.
Yeah.
Right. And we've already talked about the police and Snyder, this important moment that happens between them. Angel and Xander, fucking married couple moment where they're like walking away and he's like, but what about the siren? What does that mean? And what would have happened if he did believe you? And he's like, he would have bit you. Just a cute little cute little moment between the large men of Buffy.
Yeah. Then Joyce indicates to Buffy that she gets it.
Yeah.
And she's really proud of Buffy for being able to take care of herself and thinking of other people first in a crisis, which is so great.
And also really what Buffy is after in this episode, you know, like Buffy doesn't want Joyce to not be proud of her, and she doesn't want Joyce to think that she's going to cause trouble, and she doesn't want to cause trouble.
And what's really interesting too is like sort of the focus on like which is like so true to life. There's this extreme focus on testing, on academics, and in particular on testing, which is specifically brought up, testing and grades. And that Buffy is able to show her mom that there's a lot to be proud of about Buffy.
Right.
Without involving like any academic scores or qualifiers. That's really important because I feel like that's not something we see a ton in TV and film.
Yeah, no, it's true. And we don't see at all in real life.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, look. Real life skills that like saved lives and like took care of people.
Right. That has to count for something. And also on top of, I think, Joyce understanding that element, she also has gotten a window into Principal Snyder, which is really important because she saw what a fucking he was. And so that, I think, informs also what he said to her in the office earlier. She's not taking it as seriously because she realized that, you know what, when shit went down, the principal was horrible and my daughter saved the day. So maybe I should trust my daughter a little bit more than I trust the administration of a school. And you know what? In a good amount of cases, that could be correct. And that is not speaking negatively about the fantastic teachers of the world. But I think if you're a fantastic teacher, you probably are nodding your head in agreement at some of the horrendous things that happen in administration at schools, and some of the horrible ways that, you know, adults treat teenagers.
And children.
And children, yeah. Children. Like, it's a whole thing. Anyhow, it's a nice ending.
But not quite.
Jenny Calendar still wants to date
Giles.
Yes. Angel and Xander going home to watch a good episode of television together.
Oh my God. And we've got two great things that happen that we haven't talked about yet. The last two things that happen in the episode. First of all.
Oh, yeah. No, I have more things.
Cordelia and Willow are still in the utility closet.
Yes, that is one of my things.
Cordelia is praying and also announcing that she does not consider herself responsible for her actions during that time of the month. Which, for some reason, on a show that's like being written, directed by it's like, the patriarchy, but for some reason coming out of Cordelia's mouth.
Yeah.
It's just like,
yeah. Also, when she's like in a utility closet talking about being a lady with Willow and being a lady.
Right, and Willow's over it. She's got a headache.
Yeah.
She's like, are we ever going to make out again?
Right. She's disappointed
Probably.
because she was like, let's make out, and then they made out, and Cordelia was like, okay, but now I should pray. That's how the scene went.
We've all been there, am I right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
and then of course the annoying one, as so named by Spike, gets put in a cage and killed. And I don't know what he is because he dies the same way a vampire would die in the light. But we are not to believe that he was a vampire. A vampire.
I think this requires additional research and perhaps a reflection on the original prophecy about one rising from the ashes of 5 and da-da-da-da-da. But
right.
Not totally sure. Is he like more than a vampire? Is he a vampire and then some?
Do you know what I don't care about?
What he is.
I don't. He's gone.
He's dead. Hooray! The peasants rejoice!
Yeah. Ding dong. The anointed one is dead.
Oh god, this show just got even better.
And Spike, I think, like, kills everybody in the room, really, right? They were like,
well, there was just that one minion.
Minion. And
I don't know if that minion is dead or just unconscious.
Oh, maybe he just punches him, whatever. But it's very clear at the end of this scene, Spike and Drusilla have, in fact, moved in. They are here. They are here to stay. And oh, how happy I am about it.
Bow, 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 bow.
Wow. So that was School Hard.
Whew. What a great episode!
Fantastic episode.
How exciting!
I have not screamed this much during an episode since the start of the series. I was very full of enthusiasm.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, when was the last time you screamed a lot during Prophecy Girl? You screamed a lot during Angel.
But not like that. Not
like this. No.
No, not
It's a
like this.
whole
I feel we have rounded a bend and we are just plummeting into the abyss of wonder that is Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Abyss of wonder.
So, thanks for being with us. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Tell them who you are.
Don't mind if I do. I've got that information, if nothing else.
Yeah, I know you do.
I am Jenny Owen Youngs, and when I'm not watching Buffy and making this podcast with my wonderful wife, Kristine, and also when I'm not marching at the Women's March in Los Angeles or points elsewhere, I'm usually writing and recording songs. That's my gig. You can learn more about me at jennyowenyoungs.com/buffering, where I have taken the liberty of curating a little playlist of my non-Buffy songs for you guys if you want to check them out. You can also give me a shout on Twitter at Jenny Owen Youngs.
Woo! Thank you for calling me your wonderful wife.
You are my wonderful wife.
So nice to hear that compliment. I feel the same way about you.
Yeah,
it's true. I like you.
But who are you?
Well, my name is Kristine Russo. And if you want to check out more about me, you can follow me on Twitter, Kristine Noeline, KristineNoeline. I know that many of you listen every week because some of you have started sending me emails to Kristine Noeline with like hyphens between all the letters because I spell it every week, but I'm just spelling it because what if you were listening for the first time? I don't know. Anyhow, you can find me on Twitter, or you can also find out more about the work that I do for LGBTQ young people and their families over at everyoneisgay.com and mykidisgay.com. So yeah, that's me.
Buffering the Vampire Slayer is on Twitter and Facebook at BufferingCast. You could also drop us an email at bufferingthevampireslayer@gmail.com.
A reminder that if you live in the Los Angeles area, you can see us next week.
Oh, yeah.
February 2nd. Please come out and join us at Nerd Melt. Information is at nerdmeltla.com. We will have guests, Chris Farron, Brittany Nichols. We're going to be doing a full episode of Reptile Boy.
Woo!
So watch it before you come.
Ow, ow, ow.
And we'll also be playing a little bit of music. It's going to be so much fun. Come.
One hoot, one holler at least.
At
guaranteed.
least a hoot and a holler. And of course, as always, please, if you can support us, we just launched our very own Patreon page over at patreon.com/bufferingcast. There's all sorts of cool rewards over there. Last week, I made a behind-the-scenes video of Jenny and I writing the bridge to, what was last week's episode called?
Ooh, not When She Was Bad, but
no, it was the bridge to When She Was Bad. Yes. So a couple weeks ago, I made a behind-the-scenes video of us creating that, like writing it in real time, and I'm going to edit that and put it up this week. That's for our $5 patrons, and our $5 patrons also always get the MP3 of the song the week that it goes up. So if you don't want to wait until the end of the season to get the album, you can support us at the $5 level. You can also support us at the $1 level or the $10 level and get fun prizes. You can check it all out over on Patreon. Thank you so much to the people who have supported us already. It has been we have seen an incredible response.
Yes.
My most recent check, we were above $300 already in just 2 weeks of having that Patreon page up. So please, if you can, keep the support coming. It's really helpful to us in keeping this sounding good and, keeping our lives moving forward, because we do take a considerable amount of time watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer, writing songs, and making the podcast, which we love. But it's very helpful, and we are very appreciative of all of you. So thanks.
Another way that you can support us is by giving us a review on iTunes. Give us those 5 stars and tell us why you like us. If you have negative things to say,
keep it to yourself.
Yeah, keep it to yourself. You can also find our album of the songs from season 1 on iTunes, on Spotify, on wherever you get your digital music.
That's true.
And
we have a handful.
A handful of CDs left still in the Buffering store.
Yes, along with pins and T-shirts.
Good gravy.
Good. There's a lot to do. You have a lot. Let's let you go. You've got a lot of homework.
Enjoy that homework. Yeah. And till next time.
Ow.
Time for parent teacher night. sure she won't, oh man. Snyder's got it in for me. Snyder's got it in for me. You gotta be kidding me, I can't believe I have to hostess. But Spike just got to town and now he's talking up some St. Bitches. It's making school hard. School's hard, slaying's harder. Hell yeah, I'm making starter. School's hard, slaying's harder. Hell yeah, I'm a mother's daughter. Machetes are my favorite way to chop a fancy crudité. Also made some lemonade and my recipe destroyed. Spike came busting through the glass, grabbed a 2x4 all like Hulk smash. But my mom knows how to wield an axe, so you better run, boy. Yeah, you better run, boy. We agreed to Saturday, so what's up with this early attack? Why do you have to get up in my face when I just made all these snacks? Making school hard. School's hard, slaying's harder. Hell yeah, I'm a making starter. School's hard, slaying's harder. Hell yeah, I'm a mother's Cordelia and Willow are still locked up inside that utility closet where they went to hide, went to hide, went to hide, went to hide. Tonight gave me lots to process, like Spike and Angel are old friends, but at least the anointed one is dead. Hooray, hooray, hooray. That kid was really the worst.
Hey guys. Turns out this week while we were writing the episode song, we felt a sudden twinge. Something was missing. That something was a jingle for our beloved DRUSILLA. Without further ado, here you go.
DRUSILLA, you fill my heart with dread, and still I'm led right back to you.
Wow. If you're a patron at the $5 level or higher, that little jingle and today's song are already up for your downloading pleasure. And very soon, you'll also be able to get your very own DRUSILLA ringtone. What a day. Bye.
I'm Dana Schwartz, and this is Rise or Die, the official companion podcast for Peacock's original series, Those About to Die. On this podcast, I go behind the scenes with the show's cast and creators to learn how they brought their brutal vision of Rome to life.
Gosh, people will freak out.
Rise or Die launches on July 18th. Watch or listen wherever you get your podcasts.
A bloodbath tonight in the rural town of Chinook.
Everyone here is hiding a secret.
4 more victims found scattered.
Some worse than others.
I came as fast as I could. I'm Deputy Ruth Vogel.
And soon, my quiet life will never be the same.
Realm presents a 30 Ninjas production, Chinook, starring Kelly Marie Tran and Sanaa Lathan. Listen to Chinook wherever you get your podcasts.